Hello, and welcome to Simply Maddie's podcast. Today I am interviewing my best friend, who also happens to be my husband. When I lived and grew up here in America, I was born and raised a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. My husband was born in a Catholic family in Lima, Peru, but knew at a young age that there was pieces missing from the Catholic Church, and he wanted to know the truth. This is his story as on how he became a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Franklin, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So, Franklin, you were raised Catholic in Peru, right?
Yes.
What age were you when you realized you wanted to find a new church?
12.
And what made you want to find a new church?
Because I never liked Catholic Church because I always thought that it's just a tradition. It is not a religion. Because I've seen that and I just didn't like it.
So, what were some of the frustrations you had while trying to find the church?
Not finding a right church or a right place, I think, because after I decided not to go to a Catholic church anymore, to find a good church was very difficult because I visited so many churches and I've never found something that I really liked or something that made me feel very confident, you know.
So, what other religions did you go to, for example, before joining the LDS church?
So I went to multiple religions. If I'll say one by one, it's gonna be impossible. I can just say the Jehovah Witness, the Church of God, the Christian Church, the Pentecostes, the Israelites, that we call it like that, and so many others.
I see. And so, how did you find the church?
It took me so many years to find the church, actually, because I got baptized as when I was 12 years old. As I told you, I was a Catholic. Then I was looking for another church, and then I got baptized in a Christian church. So since I was 12, I was looking for the true church, and I didn't find until I was 19 or 20s, almost on my 20s.
And how did you find it?
Oh, as I was always praying, I used to pray and just asking for guidance to God. By that time, I didn't expect to find any other church. I just said that there is no church on earth. There is no true church. So I just decided to live my life with my own principles, and I said there is no church. And then one day it was Sunday. I was going home after playing soccer. I was with my soccer outfit, and then I decided to stop on a corner and just go for a walk because I like walking. And then I was walking. As I was walking, I saw some churches and one beautiful church, and it said the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I was impressed by the beauty of the church and the members getting in the church, and they told me, hey, come in. I just went in.
That's really cool. So, what stood out to you from the LDS church that you never had in other churches that stood out to you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think that the thing that stood out to me was the feeling that I had at that moment when I entered the LDS church. That feeling that I've never experienced in my life. After going to so many other religions, been there for some time, for months in some of them, after like hearing so many like teachers, doctrines, all those things, the Bible, everything, I've never been convinced and never been like happy, or I never felt peace in my life in none of those churches, never. And the first time I got to the LDS church, I was the first Sunday I was going in to check how it looks like, and I felt the spirit. That's when I know that we can feel the spirit in this life. That was the first time, and that was a confirmation for me that that was the place I was looking for since I was 12 years old, when I realized that I didn't want it to go to a traditional church, but I wanted to go to a real church with real doctrines.
That's amazing. So, my other question is that when you heard about Joseph Smith, what was your first reaction?
Uh, I was surprised when they told me that we have a prophet who saw God. I was very surprised. Uh, I was a little bit hesitant at the moment, but as I was reading the Bible since I was 12, I read the Old Testament a lot, the New Testament, and I've known since the beginning of the world, since the Old Testament, God always chose someone, a leader, a prophet. Abraham, Jacob, you know, and then so many others like Isaiah, all of those prophets. He always chose someone to guide his people. So it kind of made sense for me. We've always have leader. Why we don't have any prophet now? I think we should, and we are in a time that we need a prophet, maybe more than ever before. And why shouldn't we have one? So that made sense for me, and I was a little bit hesitant still until I read Joseph Smith's history, his life, his experiences. So when I read his life, I felt the spirit very strong, and actually his story is kind of similar as mine, because I've always had questions since I was little, asking my mom, what's the purpose of this life? I don't understand sometimes. Your sisters, they just are born, they get married, they have kids, and they die. That's it. What's the purpose? You know, what's the point of that, coming to earth to live, suffer some happiness, suffering, and die? That's it. I don't see. I cannot find any interesting in those things. I told my mom, and she would tell me just whatever. But I had those questions, and then I would say, there must be something else on earth. There must be like a kingdom of God here on earth, because in the Bible, in Matthew 6:36 says, "Seek the kingdom of God and His righteousness first, and everything else will be added to you." So seeking the kingdom of God was my goal since then. I have to find this kingdom. Where should I find, and what to do? So and yeah, that's what happened. I love Joseph Smith because I felt and I had the same questions as him, and I've always were trying to find a true church, and I've always been concerned about my spiritual life and my life after death.
I love that. So, after you became a member of the church, you became interested in learning more about the church, which brought you to Utah. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey to come to Utah, to see the Mormon temple in Utah, and to learn more about the gospel in Utah?
Yeah, so I was happy with the church back there in Peru. I never wanted to come to Utah just because of the church, because I think that wherever you are, and if you're a member, and if you're keeping the God's commandment, since you are in the true church, you're gonna find happiness and joy in your life. It doesn't matter where you are. The reason why I came to the US is because